Well, hello, fellow stampers. Wendy Klein with Doggone Delightful Stampin' Studios. How is everybody today? I'm here with a really fun tutorial per request for my double window pane shaker card. We did this one in September at an Advanced Stampin' Experts class. It showcased our Wonderland stamp set at that time, and we did some masking and some special techniques in this card. But I have refreshed this design for the spring and to specifically showcase the new stamp set, Happy Home, that came out in our 2016 Spring Occasions catalog, and to go with the new Hearth and Home framelits that came out this winter in the holiday catalog. So we're going to use just the window die out of this today. That does have a cute little piece here to make a window box, but I'm not going to use that one today. We'll use just the window. And we're going to make this fun, refreshed, brightly colored shaker card with the new stamp set. I really love this, and there's a couple of different options to make your window here, and so we'll look at that here in a minute. But I wanted to showcase how you do this. Now, before we get started actually cutting the window, I want to talk to you a little bit about our framelits. Normally, Stampin' Up! Framelits has the cutting edge on the inside of the die, as you can see here on our star framelits, for example. Okay, and so when you're cutting, when you're laying down on paper, you know that your cutting edge is on the inside, not the outside. So when you're trying to conserve cardstock or make that fit, that's a good way to keep that in mind. However, on the window framelit, things are a little bit different, and I'm hoping you can see this. The cutting edge is all the way out on the outside edge of this framelit. Okay, the reason for that is we have a cutting edge on the inside as well, and that's to cut out these little window panes. So for this die, when you're setting this die to cut, you have to remember that the cutting edge is actually in two spots on this framelit, and this outside edge is of particular importance today as we make this card. Okay, so bring in your die cutting machine, and I'm going to bring in mine here, and hopefully so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use some Old Olive cardstock today, and this is just cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, kind of our typical size, and that's going to work fine to cut this window. So just bring this in at the edge here. Now, to do this, it's very important that you are trying to avoid cutting this edge of the window. So to do that, and I'm going to bring this up so you can see it, and I'm using my magnetic platform today because it keeps the die in place, as you can see, and I just love how that works. So if you don't have a magnetic platform, you really need to get one. It makes a world of difference. And so to do this, once you have your die in place on your plate, you want to set your top cutting plate on your sandwich. You want to set that, let's straighten this out just a touch again. You want to set that so that it's just shy of that outside cutting edge, okay? You don't want any pressure on that outside cutting edge on this middle section at all, because we don't want to cut through there just yet, okay? And so let me bring in my cutting machine here and run this through. My Big Shot went to Big Shot heaven in the sky this weekend, so I had to run out and get, this is actually a Big Kick, but it's pretty much the same thing. I'll have to replace my Stampin' Up! Big Shot when I get a chance. So, but my dear machine that I've had for many, many years decided that it had had enough and was done for. So that was the end of that one. So we gave it a little funeral, and that's the end of that. Now, this is a little bit of an intricate die, so when you're pulling it out, just be real careful not to tear your little window bars, okay? And to help you, you can always push out your die with your paper piercer through these holes that are put there just for that purpose, just to give you some aid and some help in pulling your die out, okay? So you can just help push those right out there, and I'm just going to give it a little extra pop, help those come out just nicely. Okay, so there's that side. Now, the way I set my top plate there, I didn't quite catch the cutting edge of the window panes itself, but that's okay. You can see there's a crease there that was put in place for you. You just bring in your paper snips and just cut right up that seam that was put there for you and just pop those right out. No big deal at all, okay? Now we're going to set the other side of the window, and this is the important part to this, okay? What you want to do now, when you come in to put the other side of your window in, is you want to line up this outside middle cutting edge, and you actually want to line it up with this inside window pane frame here, right here. So you just want to line that up right along that edge like that, okay? Again, the magnetic platform is going to really help us, and I want to make sure that's lined up side to side so that it matches exactly and that that lines up exactly with the inside edge of my window frame. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to set your sandwich, your upper plate, cutting plate, so that it's just shy of that outside edge. We don't want to cut there or you'll ruin your window panes. Okay, and then you're just going to set that in, run that through your die cutting machine of choice. All right, and I'm going to set this aside, and we'll take a look at what we have here, okay? Pop those little windows right out of there, just real carefully. Just like that. There we go. And that's all we need our window for. Now, once again, we're just going to come in here and pop this all out of here. So you can see we can just kind of give this a snip right on those lines, just like that. Okay. Get our little window panes popped out here. Okay. And voila, there's your double window. It's not hard, just need to take a little bit of care to do. Okay, pretty cool, huh? I love it. It's one of my favorite techniques with these window framelits. All right, now let's talk for just a minute about your window. You can make your little window any fashion you want. I tried a couple different things here just for fun on these cards. I think this one is my favorite. This was a full open bay window. This left them all in. So there's a lot of different things you can do. I think today what we'll do, to do something just a little bit different, we'll just leave the crosshatch bars and we'll take out these vertical ones here so that your window will look like this. So make your window any way you'd like. You can match it to your living room or your kitchen or whatever you like, whatever strikes your fancy. So we're going to just take those right out of there, and that will be our window that we're going to use in just a few minutes here, okay? And I'm going to just straighten this out because I didn't quite get that off of there. All right, so we're going to set that aside, and we'll deal with that for a few minutes. Now let's make our little scene to go through our window, and today I'm going to do that. I'll show you how we do that to set up our window here. Alrighty. I'm going to use my fun little thing. Now we're going to use some archival basic black ink today. I'm also using Daffodil Delight and some Soft Sky and some, sorry about that, some Old Olive to match my window pane there. Okay, and I love this stamp set. It's so cute. So I'm going to put in a little bit extra today. My other sample cards that I had for my workshop this last weekend were a little bit simpler just to make it quick and fast. But let's have a little fun today, and let's just put in some extra detail, make this kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to stamp up. Let me get a sheet here so we don't ruin the table. Bring in a sheet here so we can stamp on it. All right, and we'll stamp in, I think we'll put in just, well, you know what? Before we do that, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. I need some sunshine in this card. My fall card had the moon, but this one had sunshine. And I'm using the Cool Stamp set from kind of eclectic. I'm using the sun image out of here just because it's so easy to do. And I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight on that. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it off once just so it's not too overwhelming. And let's see, our sunshine, I think we'll make our sunshine come from this direction here. Just for fun, just like that. Alrighty. That's one of my favorite stamp sets, by the way, kind of eclectic, so really fun. Now let's make our little scene here. And I think we'll bring our tree in from this side because it's got some cute little flowers on it. And we're just going to stamp part of it kind of coming in like that. And then here's our little fun little kid with his kite and his pooch. Probably my favorite image out of this stamp set. We'll line him up here, and he's flying his kite right in the center of our scene. Kind of perfect. There we go. Alrighty, and then we will have off here the little bench. Somebody can be sitting and watching our friend. And a few clouds on the horizon, just like that. Isn't this a fabulous stamp set? I just love this stamp set. Alright, then what we're going to do, we're making this real easy, and we're just going to use some sponging technique. And we're just going to bring in some color here to our sky. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to bring it in. I'm going to start at the edges. Bring in my color around the edges. And then I'm just going to kind of softly swirl that in into the center and work that in. And if you do it right, you can kind of create the illusion of clouds. If you just leave some white area, kind of just bring that in. We're just going to gently bring that in. So you see how you can kind of keep that from looking too overwhelming and blue, and like there's a little bit of cloud on the horizon, and that's really nice. That's gentle. Okay, now we're going to use our old olive and do the same thing here. And I'm just going to kind of bring in the grass down here, and then just be gentle about bringing in some color here. You'll see that I kind of work it off on my scratch paper first so that I don't bring a really hard color in here. I don't want it to be harsh. I just kind of want to make it soft and kind of gentle there. We'll just kind of bring that in, and then I think we need a little bit on our tree. So we'll kind of splotch in a little bit on the tree. Make a nice little, just like that, okay? All right, and then I'm going to use some of my Stampin' Write markers here, and we'll just add a little bit of interest here, and just kind of add some dimension. This is an old olive marker, so it kind of goes with what we were already doing. Just like this. Okay. I'm just going to add some color there, and I'm going to add a couple of things down here just to give some dimension. Let's see here. We have some cute little flowers. I think we need to add some flower color. I'm making the leaf orange, but I guess that's okay. And my little guy here, he needs a brightly colored shirt, I think. And we'll give him some delightful Dijon shorts. How's that sound? He looks like he's ready for spring to me. And we've had some pretty horrific wind here just recently in the last week. So I think it was beyond kite flying weather actually, but here we go. And I'm going to use a little bit of Tip Top Taupe on my putty dog, just add a little color here so he doesn't look too just black. We'll add a little color to our bench. So that's got some dimension there. So yeah, just take your image, play with it a little bit, make it something special, look just like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring in a sentiment from my set, and this is just the most adorable little set. So there's some cute little things here you can do, and you can see that you can have your flower box, window flower box, and all those things too if you wanted to. I think today I'm going to say it's a good day. Now, what I like to do before I put my sentiment on is I like to just take a look and see how everything is lining up through my window. How cute is that? That is adorable. And I think my sentiment's a little bit crooked on the block here. But let's go ahead and so this lets me see where would I like my sentiment to be. And I'm going to stick my sentiment up here right over the sunshine, in between the clouds. It's a good day, just like that. I think that's really fun and bright and cheery. Okay, we'll set that aside for a minute. Now, by the way, this piece and the window sheet piece are cut 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. Just a touch shy of that actually. So just a touch shy of 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And if you do that, that will be the perfect fit behind your window here, okay? And we're going to attach this window sheet with some Tombow glue, multi-purpose glue. And what I want you to do is just a thin squiggle. I don't want you to overdo the glue because you do not want it to squeeze out from underneath your window and make a mess. You wouldn't like the effect, I can guarantee it. So we will try that. That should be just enough glue. And then we're going to set our window on here, get it in place. You can see how that glue squeezes when you set this down, and so that's why you want to be careful so that you don't have too much glue. Just a squiggle. Okay, I'm going to press that in place, make sure that didn't go anywhere it shouldn't. Nope, looks okay. Now we'll leave that just a second to set, shouldn't take too long. I'm going to use some foam mounting tape. This is 3/8 inch and this is 1/4 inch. I get these from My Favorite Things is where I get these particular ones from, but they're available at Simon Says Stamp and a number of other craft sites, so it wouldn't be hard to find these at all for you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach our foam tape next. And now you want to set this because we're going to have sequins in here. And you want to make sure everything is sealed off real nice. So we're going to set this, tuck this nice and close. This is very strong mounting tape that I get here. So once it's stuck to something, I can assure you the odds of you getting it back up are pretty slim. This is very good tape. Very sticky. So you'll see in a minute when we're working with it that you kind of have to be careful because the sequins will get all over everything and it will be difficult to work with. So I'm putting the 3/8 inch here on the top and the bottom, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to tuck the 1 1/4 right snug with that up the sides. And we're going to make sure we have a good closed seal, because you don't want your sequins to come flying out and go everywhere. They have to stay inside your window. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to come up this side. All right. And voila. There you go. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do, foam mounting tape is just as sticky on the sides as it is on the bottom, or it can be. So, I want you to take your Stampin' Buddy, and I want you to come in here, and I want you to try to put some of that Stampin' Buddy dust right up against the edges there. And let's try to get some of that tacky stickiness down so that our sequins will move around our window and not get stuck on the sides. They'll tend to a little bit anyway, but we try to minimize that as much as we can by this little trick. Something else that might work if you don't have a Stampin' Buddy, you could try a Q-tip and some talcum powder would work. A little baking soda in there, something that would take down the tackiness, but be careful not to get too much powdery in there so that you're not ruining your little window. Now I got some other stickiness on my window here, but we'll be okay. All right, now let's talk about sequins. These sequins are from Pretty Pink. These are Pretty Pink Posh. I get these at My Favorite Things. They're also available at Simon Says Stamp, a couple places like that. These are a mixture of about 4 different colors that I put in this tin here, and then we're also going to use some Martha Stewart stars, little stars today. These are called Lemon Drop. Some of my favorite. I'm a sequin girl. Well, you know me, I love embellishments of all kind, pearls and rhinestones and all that. So the trick to sequins is not to have too much, but not to have too little. You want the right balance and the right effect. And one thing I like to tell my stampers is take a look at your scene through your window. My window got a little messed up here, so try not to look at that. But, you know, how much are you going to cover up with the sequins? How much do you want to see the scene through your window? That's kind of what you want to take a look at there. Okay, so this is a pretty good scene, and I don't know that I want to cover it up too much, but I do want to have some fun sequin in here. So I think we'll do it like this. Sometimes my card that we did in the fall, I put a little bit more in. This was a scene that wasn't too big a deal that you could have a little more fun and sequin with. This one I don't want to cover up too much. It's kind of fun. So we'll see how this does for us. Now I'm going to use my paper piercer here and just lift up our little flaps real carefully. Now this is very, very tacky tape, and you will see that it really sticks to my fingers. You just want to be careful because you can get it stuck to you and everything else and flip everything all over the place, and then it's a big mess. Sequin explosion is what we would have. So we'll just take our time here and be a little bit careful. You can see some of my sequins are trying to stick already. We'll try not to worry about those too much. I'll see if I can get this one off here. Oh, well, we're going to make a bigger mess than it's worth, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, now we're going to lay our card piece down. Now you can see again it's cut exactly right, side to side, top to bottom, at that 4 7/8, just shy of the 4 7/8 and 4 3/8 size. So you just want to center that, set it down, get it in place. And this is not forgiving sticky tape, so it will be on permanently. Okay, there you go. Perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, our cute little card is just about done. We're going to bring in a Daffodil Delight card base. This is cut 7.5 by 5.5 so that we don't have too big of an outline around our window. We want our focus on our window. Don't forget my rule. There's a right side and wrong side to your scoring, so be sure your bump is always where you fold to, just like this. Okay, and I don't have my bone folder here right now, but that's okay. And then we're going to just attach our card to the fret of this, just like this. And you kind of want to make sure you've got enough tape on there that it's going to be secure and not go anywhere. Okay, we're going to center that in place on our card, just like this. And I've got a piece for the inside, right like this. We'll just pop this in here so you can stamp another sentiment or write your note or whatever you want. And there you go. That's how that is. I hope that you've enjoyed this today and that you enjoy making windows, double window panes. And best of luck to all of you. See you next time here at Doggone Delightful Stampin' Studios.